Well, that was a strange and fairly easy and comfortable game at the end, but God, my heart was in my mouth on a couple of occasions. So welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. This is my, obviously, Arsenal series reacting to every single Arsenal game, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on tonight's game in the Premier League at the Emirates Stadium, which saw Arsenal dispatch West Brom by 2-0. And can I just say, Arsenal are on good run of form, basically. It's a good patch since, the dismal and pathetic performance we saw at Anfield. We are now unbeaten in the last 5 games in all competitions. We've kept 3 clean sheets in the last 3 Premier League games. And we're just playing decent football. I mean, we've had a couple of hairy moments here or there, but all in all, we're playing well. And that consistency, that kind of run that I said we needed to, get some consistency, get some results under our belt, and just keep this kind of catalogue of games where we don't just win or get draws, but we're playing well and playing with confidence. That's what we're doing so far, and we're doing it, fairly well. We're climbing back up the table. We're just about keeping up with the chasing pack. I mean, we're still 6 points off the Manchester clubs. But, you have to beat what's in front of you, and since the Liverpool game, we've been doing everything right, and it's really, really encouraging to see. Now, tonight's game against West Brom are always the kind of team where they are the real deal, really. They are the proper party poopers. They're the party spoilers. Party poopers? For God's sake. The party spoilers, shall I say. And, Tony Pulis' sides often cause top teams a lot of problems. Like, Tony Pulis is the ultimate tactician. He knows how to get results. Yes, he plays, I think, absolutely atrocious and, just horrible, awful football. But he gets the job done. And, West Brom, against these big sides, home and away, they cause a lot of problems. Last season, they beat us at the Hawthorns 3-1. We beat them at the Emirates last season on Boxing Day, 1-0 courtesy of Olivier Giroud. But West Brom cause teams problems, and particularly Arsenal teams who are often bullied against, strong, aggressive, powerful teams. West Brom love to roll their sleeves up and cause us a considerable amount of problems. And you just know what you're going to get from a Tony Pulis side. Tonight, he lined up a I think it was a back 5. And you just knew that he was going to park 11 behind the ball and then just constantly float these long balls, to the Robson-Kanu, up front for West Brom, and it allowed him to just run in and cause problems and test Arsenal's defence. Now, the game itself was kind of a game, again, which had a kind of a tale of 2 halves. West Brom started the game fairly well. They had a couple of really decent chances. There was a couple of hairy moments that West Brom had in the first half. You had very, very, very early on, Robson-Kanu goes past Mustafi, and he then gets kind of darted round, goes past Mustafi. Mustafi comes in and just slides him. Now, it's a penalty. It is a certain penalty. It's 100% a penalty. He doesn't get the ball. He straight away gets the man. And, West Brom should have had a penalty, really. Then the ball is whipped in, and a shot that Robson-Kanu has, Petr Cech saves it, and it falls back to Livermore, who has basically an open goal, standing in front of him, and he just kind of, it's not the easiest shot in the world, but Cech is on the floor, he hasn't got back up quick enough, he hasn't reacted to it quick enough, so Livermore, all Livermore has to do is just drill it in, and he doesn't, he kind of puts a bit of like a half boot on it, to make it just like shoot and just go far wide, and then it goes out for a goal kick. But they had a couple of really decent moments. They should have scored the rebound. They should have had a penalty. And all in all, they were causing us a considerable amount of problems. We had some decent chances early on. Alexis Sanchez with a free kick that was like after 4 minutes. And the warning signs were there. Alexis Sanchez just drags his first free kick wide. But the first goal comes after 20 minutes. Alexis Sanchez, another free kick. And West Brom should have spotted the danger and problems. When you give kind of Alexis Sanchez, these type of positions. Also, Granit Xhaka had a free kick that he missed. But when you give the likes of players like Xhaka and Sanchez, free kicks on the edge of the box, there's a very, increased chance that this is going to become a goal. West Brom, should have sensed the danger from the first one. Second one comes in, Alexis Sanchez, great free kick, it hits the post. and then there is Alexandre Lacazette on the rebound as the ball hits the bar, and it actually is a good save from Ben Foster. Foster kind of, hits it out with his hand to take up, and it hits the post, comes back out. Lacazette hits the rebound, gives us the goal. And I said before the game that I felt like West Brom were going to have chances, they were going to have moments that were going to cause us considerable amount of problems, and they're going to just sit alone behind the ball, try and frustrate and play that long ball, which is exactly what Tony Pulis, did. But I said if we can get ourselves, an early goal, get the first goal, then it means that West Brom can play that, we don't have to be intent and direct and constantly, pushing players forward. We can just sit back, keep possession, keep the ball, run down the clock and get ourselves the win. Got the first goal, but in that first half, I wasn't convinced, I wasn't safe. I kept saying to my dad, we need to get a second goal, we don't, we're not going to be comfortable until we have a second goal. And West Brom had a couple of really, really good opportunities. We had a couple of, half chances here and there. But, we entered that first half where it was an even game. It was 50-50. And you could tell that if the game carried on, West Brom was certainly going to have a couple of chances. And, it wasn't going to be long before they actually punished us. So we knew we had to have a second goal. We had to come out and be, more aggressive. We had to be more assertive, coming out and keeping the ball and having possession. And that's exactly what we did in the second half. Much, much better, keeping the ball, controlling the game much more. West Brom didn't have many chances whatsoever, and we were creating chances. It was only a matter of time. And then we get a penalty. Now, again, it's a questionable decision. And Ramsey goes down the left-hand side. He turns in. You could argue that he's been running out of, the ball's getting run out of play. Ramsey doesn't really have anywhere else to go. He's not really going anywhere with the ball. He could cross it in to try and get someone on the back post. But, he isn't really going anywhere with the ball. Neon comes in and brushes him off the ball. His shoulder charges him, just takes him off the ball fairly aggressively. And Bobby Madley gives it as a penalty. And I think it is a penalty. I do think it's a penalty. I think Neon is slightly too aggressive. But, back in the day where shoulder charges and barges, weren't necessarily given as a penalty, those days are long gone. And I think Bobby Madley was on our side. The ref was on our side for sure tonight, and I do think it's a penalty. It's one of those decisions where if Ramsey was going to put a ball in to either Lacazette or Sanchez at the back post and it was going to be a clear-cut goal, it's a penalty 100%. Was Ramsey going anywhere? Was he actually going to create something dangerous, or was the ball just going to go out of play? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that, but all in all, when you weigh it up 50-50, I think it probably was a penalty. But I do think West Brom should have had a penalty. And we also had a penalty claim as well from Dawson in the first half. He got a yellow card, Neon got a yellow card. Dawson should have been sent off, really. But I think kind of Bobby Madley was on our side today. You just have some of those games in the Premier League where the referee, all the decisions do go in your favour, and in the end you're sitting there and, you've got a decent performance. We were better than West Brom. We outplayed them. We outfought them in the second half. We were, just a class above them in the second half. But had they got that penalty, had they scored first, had they created that chance that Livermore had from the rebound, it could have been a very, very different game. And that is when, the kind of the luckiness and kind of, having Bobby Madley on your side worked in our favour. But in the second half, I think, had we been 1-0 down or gotten it to 1-1, we would have won the game 2-1 anyway. So, I don't really think you can use Bobby Madley as a scapegoat for us winning the game. But, who knows what would have happened had, West Brom got that penalty or got a goal early on, because they really should have, they deserved to get a goal in the early stages. And if I was Tony Pulis, I'd been absolutely furious with the decisions that didn't go his way. But we get a 2-0 win, we get another clean sheet, and it's just more consistency. It's just that much more of momentum that it is keeping us going. We've got Batty Borislav in the Europa League on Thursday night, and then we play Brighton, and then I think there's an international break, and we have Watford on the 14th of October. So we can end the international break with 13 points, which means we would still be 6 points off of the Manchester clubs if they both win. If they both win. Manchester City play Chelsea on Saturday, so if we get a draw from that, we would only be 4 points off of Manchester City. That Brighton game next weekend, or this weekend coming up, is a massive, massive game. We need to keep pace at the top of the table. We've moved up into the top 7, and our objective is to get back in the Champions League, whether we do that winning the Europa League. But I don't think we're going to win the Premier League title this season, and that's another thing that I want to quickly kind of touch on as well. Where are Arsenal? Where do I realistically believe that Arsenal are going to finish this season? What should be the objective? And every season I say Arsenal should be going for the Premier League title, but now that we're at the Champions League, we need to be back in the Champions League. We deserve to be the Champions League, and I feel like we should set that as our first objective. Get back into the top 4, which Arsene Wenger has done many times, and if you can go one better and challenge for the Premier League title, great. I don't think with the current squad that we can challenge. I think we're a few players short, and I think the way the Manchester clubs are playing this season, I think it's going to be one of those two. I don't think Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs or us have any chance of even getting near to them, really. I know Chelsea are 3 points off of the Manchester clubs, but I think it is going to either be City or United. I think United. So our best bet is to get into the top 4, cement our position back into the Champions League and go from there. And, we move on. It's another win. It's another clean sheet. It was a strange game in the end. All in all, it was a strange game. And in the end, we got ourselves, 3 more points. We keep this unbeaten run going. And also a special mention to Gareth Barry tonight. 633 games in the Premier League. And that is quite a remarkable achievement, to be at the top level for all those games for many, many years. It's a great service to the Premier League. Couldn't get, the coronation ceremony victory tonight, but it's a great achievement nonetheless. And to, constantly be in the Premier League and be in the top division, it's some going. And also, it was not really nice to see, but, Kieran Gibbs coming back for West Brom, he had a couple of decent moments, but, I wish Gibbs all the best. He was a loyal servant, great servant for Arsenal, and I think, looking at him, he'd do fine for West Brom and he'd contribute to them well. And lastly, I think it was quite funny that Maitland-Niles came on for about 15 seconds after Wenger made a change in the 92nd minute, or made a change in the 90th minute, and he didn't get brought on to the 91st minute with about 15 seconds to go. Didn't even get a touch and the game ended. Don't really understand that, but all in all, it's a good win. It's 3 points. It's keeping this unbeaten run going. We go on to Thursday night in the Europa League. We've got Brighton on Sunday. And yeah, so far so good. I'm very, very happy with Arsenal, and West Brom is that that's the kind of game that can go anywhere. You can either win 5-0 or lose 3-0. Tony Pulis, you never know what you're going to get with West Brom. But tonight we rode our luck. The ref was on our side, but we got the job done, and that is the most important thing. That is going to be the end of this Analysing Arsenal for this one. Thank you so much for watching. This is DJ Bagpuss signing out, and I will speak to you again on Thursday night when we take on Bati Borisov in the Europa League, and yeah, that's going to be an interesting encounter. See you all Thursday. Take care. See you later.